Do you like my hat? I think this hat makes me look like Buffy from that one episode where she wore a hat. I made it, and I really want to wear it even though I hate having my hair down, and also it's August in Texas. I have my scrunchie at the ready in case I give up. Today we're going to talk about lifts from the waist. More specifically, we're going to talk about how to do them from the front, and we're going to talk about how to do them from the back. If you have a smaller, lighter weight hoop and a bigger, heavier hoop, I highly recommend using both of these to practice this, and I will tell you why. The bigger hoop is going to give you more time to actually catch and lift the hoop without hitting yourself in the head as much, and then the lighter hoop is going to be easier to actually keep above your head once you lift it. It'll be easier on your hands. Plus, you try doing the lift on the little hoop and then you switch to the big hoop and it's a little bit easier. Before you can lift the hoop, you have to be able to keep the hoop going above your head, so that's what we're going to talk about first. You want to hold the hoop in front of you with your palm facing up and then turn in the direction you would normally be spinning. Let the hoop build up momentum, hold your arm out straight, and then slowly start to raise it up. Once it gets above your head, you're going to release your grip on the hoop and let the hoop start spinning around your hand on its own. To keep the hoop going, you want to kind of push your hand back and forth the same way you would push your body back and forth if it were going around your waist. Practice this with both hands because you're going to be using a different hand for the front lift and the back lift. You can switch hands easily by paying attention to when the hoop is on the back side of your hand and then slipping your other hand in palm to palm, catching it on the back side of that hand, and carrying on. You can get a nice feel for hooping with your hands by switching them in and out of the hoop and then trying hooping with both hands, which you can kind of do by knocking it back and forth like this. Once you've got a feel for that, it's time for lift off. We're going to start with a lift from the front because it's a little bit easier. I highly recommend running through the timing exercises I posted a while back while you're working on the lifts so that you can have a better feel for the hoop while you're doing this. Get the hoop going in your dominant direction. Whichever hand the hoop is spinning toward, that's the hand you're going to lift with from the front. So if you initially push your hoop to your left side, use your left hand. If you initially push the hoop to your right side, use your right hand. You're going to take your hand and slip it into the hoop as if you are sticking your hand in your opposite pocket. So you're not going to stick your left hand in your left pocket, you're going to stick it in your right hand pocket. Right hand in your left pocket. The reason you're going across the body like that is it's going to give you more time as the hoop goes around to pick it up. You want to feel for the hoop crossing over this area between your thumb and forefingers. It's going to be kind of like a shelf that the hoop will sit on when you lift it up. So let the hoop cross your hand a few times. Get a feel for when it crosses that spot. If you've watched Sapphire's tutorials, she likes to say now, now, now when it crosses your hand, so that you have this kind of internal chant and timing. When you feel ready, go ahead and pull your hand straight up. In reality, your hand is really going to be pulling on a diagonal, but don't think about that. Just think about going straight up. When you get your hoop up into the air, it's going to be hanging off of your thumb. You want to let the hoop spin around your thumb and then catch it with your palm in order to keep going with the hand hooping. If you don't quite know what to do with your opposite hand while you're practicing this, just rest it on your opposite shoulder and get it out of the way for now until you can get that lift down solid. Now for the back lift, which is a little bit trickier. The reason it's tougher is that your hand has a longer distance to travel before it's up in the air, which means you have to move a little bit quicker and feel a little bit more confident or you'll hit yourself in the head. Side note, don't be afraid of hitting yourself in the head. If you are a glasses wearer like I am, they will fall off. Just take them off. Don't even practice it with your glasses on. For about 2 years, every day that I practiced, I told myself it wasn't a real practice until I've smacked myself real hard in the face. It will hurt, but you will learn. In all honesty, the biggest obstacle most people have when it comes to doing these lifts is that they're so afraid they're going to smack themselves in the head that they do this and forget what their hands are doing. You'll do that. It's okay. Just push through it and let the hoop hit you in the head, and then beautiful lift. That's how it works. So from the back, you're going to use the other hand, whichever hand you didn't use to lift from the front. If you push your hoop to the left, you're going to use your right hand. If you push the hoop to the right, you're going to use your left hand. So switch them out. For this one, you're going to stick your hand behind you at the small of your back with your palm facing out. Again, your timing exercises will help with this, especially the one where you are sticking your hand in the hoop as it's coming around behind you. They'll help give you a feel for when you can stick your hand in that blind spot. Once again, you're going to say now, 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 get a feel for that hoop crossing your hand, and then when you feel ready to lift, you're going to pull your hand around your body and up and over your head. She says you should think about having something gross on the back of your hand that you're trying to smear off of your body. That is what helped me get my lift the first time, thinking about keeping the back of your hand on your body as you bring it across. Ultimately, your hand's not actually going to keep in contact with your body, but thinking about that at first will help you get a feel for how your hand should be moving. Once you get the hoop to about this position, things start getting a little bit trickier. Your hoop's here in front of your face, dangling from your fingers, and your hand's going, what do I do now? You're going to take your thumb and create a new shelf for the hoop to sit on. Catch the hoop with your thumb, release with your fingers, and rotate your palm up. And you'll notice that now your hand is inside the hoop, so it's ready to hand hoop above your head. This can be a tough switch to get, so go ahead and just practice it while standing stationary, switching the hoop from your thumb to your fingers and back again. Another side note, let's talk about grip. You literally do not need to grip the hoop at all to do this. I'm gonna prove it to you. Watch. I've got the hoop going around my waist. I catch it on my wrist. Without even touching it with my fingers, I pull it up and off my head, and look, it's still on my wrist. I didn't touch the hoop at all with my fingers. Why? Because the lift doesn't come from your grip. It comes from the hoop's momentum. All your hand is doing is taking the hoop and guiding it off your waist and up into the air. It's like a little elevator for your hoop. It doesn't need to do anything but be there moving. Gripping the hoop will only jar it off of that spiral, and you won't be able to do your lift successfully. So, with that in mind, let's bring the hoop back down onto our waist. You can do it with either hand, but go ahead and practice it with your left hand if you hoop to the left, right hand if you hoop to the right, because you will actually be practicing the precursor to doing the vortex. Because the vortex is really just lifting the hoop and bringing it back down without putting it back on your waist. So get the hoop going around your left hand. When the hoop comes across the palm of your hand, start to push it down using that shelf of your fingers and thumb. It helps to start this move if your hand is up above your opposite shoulder, again, so you have more time to bring it down. Think of bringing it down in a diagonal, not a straight line. Drag the hoop down and across your body, and when it gets to your waist, give it a little push to set it back on your waist. You can practice that thumb and finger switch with your left hand too. When you get down about chest level, you can go ahead and stick your fingers in the hoop and flick them to get the hoop back on your waist. If you're having a hard time with the lift up or the bring down, try turning in the direction the hoop is going, and that gives you a little bit more time. If that just makes it harder and more confusing, don't do it. But if it works for you, let it work for you. That's it for this tutorial. I know that this was a little bit more technical than the ones in the past have been, so if you're having problems with any of this, or there's anything you want me to go in more detail on, leave it in the comments. You can even film yourself doing this move and leave it as a video response, and I'll reply directly to help you troubleshoot your move. My name is Jess. You can like this video, you can subscribe if you want to see more, and I do have an Etsy store where I sell hula hoops. Next time we're going to talk about chest hooping. Happy hooping and have a great day. Mosquitoes. They think that I'm lunch.